Welcome to Tay and Talk. This is our first ever live episode. Tonight we have a good episode for you. We're going to do top 10 best scenes of all time. Not so easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to do it?
Well, top 10s are always a little hard to do because you don't know if the top 10 was top 10 best, top 10 favorite, or a mix. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do a mix, right? 50-50?
Right, it's just completely subjective. Top 10 in no specific order. Actually, mine is a specific order.
Oh, yeah, mine's
okay, yeah. Specific order, but as in no specific defined criteria for your top 10.
And there's some scenes that are like my favorite scenes, but I didn't include them because I was like, well, this scene is obviously way better. So
right.
Just because it was my favorite, I didn't put it in.
Right, exactly. No scenes from Spider-Man.
Or John Wick.
Or John Wick.
But
oh, hey, there might be a scene from John Wick. You never know.
The Willem Dafoe scene?
No. Well, anyway. So I wanted to include a lot of super old movies and a lot of like indie films and like pretentious dreck, but I couldn't. I just had to include mostly mainstream films that are action films.
Yeah, dude movies, same for me.
Yeah, even though I want to include more, I couldn't. So
this is going to be a young male biased list.
No, it's not biased, it's fact. But what we're going to do is I'll give my number 10, number 9, and number 8. And then Nin will do the same, and then we'll switch off, and then we'll get to our top 10, and we're going to discuss throughout. It's a little bit of a call-out to the Schmoes Know show that I like watching, so that'll be fun. Alright, Nin, you can go first. Give us your number 10.
My number 10 is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly Final Standoff.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't actually think of that one.
You didn't?
No, I did not.
I was thinking about replacing this one, but I just kept it on there because it's just so awesome. It's got Clint Eastwood being awesome, and it's like
the music is what makes that scene.
Is that the main theme in that? I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's the Ecstasy of Gold.
Oh yeah,
by Ennio Morricone.
That's like one of the best songs ever.
Yep.
And it's like a slow build up of tension as they keep looking back and forth at each other.
And the extreme close up. Oh man, that makes it really sick. All right, that's a good one. I really need to rewatch the original, the first two, because Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I want to watch it again, but I don't feel like watching it until I watch the other ones again.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Even though they're not really connected story-wise.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 8?
I should probably do number 9.
Oh. Yeah, number 9. What's your number 9?
My number 9 has an honorable mention. The Heat Diner.
Wait.
What?
Let's save honorable mentions till like before we reveal our number 1 or something.
No, I only have 2.
Okay. We'll
Just
save them, yeah.
No, I'm not going to save it.
Why not?
Because it's similar to the pick that I chose.
Okay, fine. Share it.
It's The Heat Diner was the honorable mention. But the one I actually chose was Dark Knight interrogation scene. For number 9.
For number 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, number 9.
They're pretty much even, but I just chose Dark Knight because I like it a little more.
Yeah.
They're both similar.
So you go for the one that was inspired rather than the original?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it was like AFI top 10, they would have chose Heat over it, but I don't really do that. I just do whichever one, when I'm watching it, which one do I like more?
Well, I don't know. Ledger took it to another level, even over De Niro and Pacino.
Well, it was more intense acting.
Yeah.
Heat was subtle.
Yeah, Heat was definitely subtle. Oh, I love Heat. If you haven't seen Heat, you gotta watch Heat.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's your number 8 pick?
No, number 9.
Oh, number 9. Okay, what's your number 8?
And then number 8 is honorable mention. This is my last honorable mention.
Okay.
Is the To Kill a Mockingbird Atticus Finch monologue in the court.
Okay.
But I didn't choose that one. It was close. I chose Forrest Gump's monologue at the end of Forrest Gump, when he's by Jenny's grave.
I don't even remember that scene.
You don't?
No.
Yeah, I didn't really remember it either, but then I watched it again, and it was just like, oh, I almost cried. It was so good.
Really?
Yeah, he's like really good Tom Hanks acting. And he's like talking to Jenny's grave, and he's like almost tearing up. Well, actually, no, I think he starts crying.
Really?
Yeah.
He's talking to Jenny's
And then, like, they just like bulldozed her house, so it was like super sad.
I need to see that one again. That does not ring a bell at all.
Really?
I don't remember any of that. So Jenny dies at the end?
Yeah, she got AIDS.
Oh,
Spoiler.
Yeah. Spoiler. Sorry, spoiler. I think everybody's seen Forrest Gump. Oh, man. Okay. That's interesting. Those are some interesting picks. All right. My
Okay,
number
your
10.
turn. Let's hear it.
My number 10 is Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. His final epic unscripted monologue ending with the horror.
Yeah.
That monologue was so fresh. It was like you knew it was unscripted, but you also were mind blown because it was unscripted as you're listening to it. It's like a fourth wall break where you know that the actor's going off the book, but it just makes it that all more realistic. So it's so sick. And then I like the trivia where Brando says after you give him like 20 minutes straight of a monologue, he's like, I'm done. I can't do any more acting after this. If you can't get a good take out of that, I'm gonna quit acting.
Well, he was probably so fat he could barely talk.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how trying to work around something in a movie ends up making it way better?
I like Jaws.
Like
Classic
Jaws.
example.
Jaws. Yep. Jurassic Park.
What did they work around in that one?
Well, just the effects. They couldn't make everything out of CG.
Yeah.
That's what makes stuff really good. Is when you had to.
You're forced to be creative.
Hitchcock. I actually think if Hitchcock was born in the modern era, his movies wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
No, I know why.
Yeah.
It's because the censors and stuff.
Yeah.
They forced him to do suspense without showing everything.
Exactly. And then later on, when he was able to go without, with showing everything, he made a few ones that weren't as good. I haven't seen them though, so I don't know actually how good they are. But yeah, it's like when you're working around something, you actually end up with a better product.
Yeah, I don't remember the Brando speech very well, so I didn't put
Really?
it on there.
Oh,
I remember it was awesome, but I don't remember any specifics.
the lighting was so sick. Just like half his face is black, and he's like wiping his head, and his hair bald. It's just gold.
Yeah.
It's just something that you had to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 9. The Godfather. Michael shoots the two guys.
And you're a Brando writer.
No, Brando's not in that scene.
Yeah, but whatever.
What do you mean? Brando's not even in that scene.
Brando writer.
No, it's the Godfather. Michael. Remember when Michael shoots the guys?
I didn't even hear what scene it was.
It's the restaurant scene. Remember?
Oh yeah.
It's after Michael agrees.
I almost put that one in there.
Yeah. See, that one's so good because there's just so much good acting in with Pacino there, because he's like constantly contemplating if he wants to become like the new head of the mafia.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's like the turning point.
Yeah, and then the brutal execution is just like, wow, this is crazy. As the two guys are like trying to convince him and be like schmooze talking him and whatnot, he just wrecks him. It's awesome. The suspense is really really high in that scene.
Yeah, I saw it again, and it was like a really long take on Pacino, and there was like must have been like a train in the background or something that slowly got louder as he was like contemplating whether he should do it or not.
Yeah,
his acting was a little over the top.
Over the top? What are you talking about?
He was like...
No, I saw that video, and then you just like to think it's over the top. You're talking about the one where they cover his eyes, and then they show you how kind of acting he was doing with his eyes there?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't over the top. It's just because they emphasized it specifically by covering his eyes.
Maybe.
I think you're overanalyzing that one. But, alright. What about my number 8 pick, Blade Runner, Tears in the Rain?
Of course. At any time you could possibly mention this scene, you mention it. I'm about to start crying.
Tears in the Rain was one of the best scenes because, okay, throughout Blade Runner I was thinking, oh, this is pretty good. I'll probably give it a 7. This is interesting. Oh yeah, I like Harrison Ford. And then when that Tears in the Rain scene comes up, it was like my mind just kind of expanded. I was like, whoa, this is so weird.
You only like that movie because you relate so much to all the robots in that movie.
No, I don't know. There's just something about one single speech summarizing the meaning of the entire movie, and I just love the fact that he rewrote it to make it more efficient before he said it, and then the entire set was watching and they just all clapped as he collapsed at the end of shooting the scene. It sounded so awesome, and the cinematography in Blade Runner is amazing, and then like the blue and the rain and everything, it just makes it look so sick. I need to watch that again on Blu-ray. All right, so what is your
Number 7?
number 7?
At number 7, I got the Ben-Hur Chariot Race.
Oh, okay. Ben-Hur Chariot
That was
Race.
a last-minute addition.
Really?
Yeah. Also, honorable mention. My second favorite scene in that movie is the boat scene.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I forgot about the boat scene.
That's my personal favorite, but the best scene is the chariot race.
Okay.
Because it's like the original Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Except instead of Vin Diesel, we get Charlton Heston, and he's wrecking.
I'm not sure how that analogy applies.
The spur is like the nods when you stick the spur into the horse's side.
No, he lost me. But I do agree with you about the chariot race, and it was one of my honorable mentions.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's all real effects. They're just going around that big circle, and it seems real. It's kind of like Mad Max too. Mad Max 2.
When I saw it, I thought that one guy that got ran over was dead. It was so realistic. And then there was a rumor that circulated that the guy was dead, but I think he actually lived. But yeah, that chariot scene, that movie's 3 hours long, but it's worth it to get to that chariot scene.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, there's like really good acting in that one scene too.
Which one?
It's like the guy was dying, like that he was racing, the guy he beat.
Oh.
And he had like a really hoarse voice.
Oh.
And it had really good acting.
I forgot that scene. Oh man, we should get that on Blu-ray sometime and watch it again.
Yeah.
That would look so sick. Alright, what about your 6?
Next one's pretty obvious. It's got the Psycho shower scene.
Psycho shower scene?
Yeah.
Really?
Last minute addition. It's not a personal pick.
No, that wouldn't make it on my list.
But pretty much just because it's like so iconic. Like if you think of any one movie scene, it's like the most iconic scene of all time. Like you can just go like this with your hand and go doo doo doo, and you know what it is, you know?
That's true.
It's like the most iconic. And like when you think of Hitchcock, that's like his entire career.
But I'm surprised you put that on the list, considering you've only seen it one time.
Oh, one time's enough for that scene.
Yeah, I don't know. That's more of a I should pick than I actually wanted to pick.
Oh, I'll admit that.
Yeah, I don't know about that pick.
I wanted to include it because it's like the obvious pick. Like you don't just not pick the obvious one just because it's obvious. It's like not choosing.
But if you think about it, though, what's so great about the scene?
Well, you have to think about when it came out.
I know, exactly. That's what makes it great is mainly because it was revolutionary for when it came out.
Yeah.
Mainly.
But scenes like that still hold up whenever you see them because it's like, whoa, that's the first time that happened? Like, whenever you watch a scene like that, it's still good because your mind's blown thinking about how innovative it was.
True. It's true.
And it's still sick because after that scene, the whole movie's changed. It's like you don't even expect that even today.
Yeah, that's true. You
hear about the shower scene, but you don't think about the implications.
That's true. It would never happen even in a movie today.
Yeah.
So I guess it is a good pick. It just didn't pop into my mind.
Yeah.
All right. What about your number 6?
No, number 5.
Number 5? Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Number 5.
My number 5 is the ending confession scene in M.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is a good one.
That's the one scene I had to pick because I was thinking the movie was a 7 or 8, kind of like Blade Runner.
Okay.
I was thinking it was a 7 or 8 the whole movie.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as I saw that, my jaw was on the floor and I gave it a 9 instantly.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it.
Now let's see. M. That's the one by Fritz Lang.
Yeah.
Is that the one where there's like a child murderer on the loose?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that one's really good. When did that come out? Like 1932 or something?
Yeah, I think it was 30s.
Yeah.
And like I never knew I could like sway my opinion of a character so fast. Like the whole movie, I had one opinion of the character, and then at the end I just completely was like, whoa.
I forgot what he said in the speech, though. I do remember a good speech. Isn't that where the town corners him?
Yeah, the town catches him, and then it's like, it pans over the crowd, it's completely silent.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just starts, like, screaming, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Especially for when it came out. Like,
I think M is on YouTube right now, so if you haven't seen M, I think it's free to watch on YouTube. I think that's where I watched it.
HD?
It might be HD. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, so that was your 5. All right. I'm going to have to reveal my number 5 pick, or
Number 7.
number 7. It's my goal to make a mistake every single time. Okay. My number 7 is the Heat street shootout scene. Because I thought you were going to say the street shootout scene when you mentioned Heat. But you mentioned the diner scene instead.
So you like the shootout more than the diner?
Yeah, the shootout scene that's like one of the best shootout scenes of all time. What makes it great is the gritty realism and the sound effects. For the sound effects, they actually
use axes?
Yeah, they actually used axes to kill each other in the shootout. No, they actually used real guns to make the sound effects for the movie. The guns they used in the scene. So it's not unrealistic. Like, some movies have really bad gun effects. Like, it sounds just like for a silencer and everything. It's super unrealistic. But with that one, the sound effects are so real. You can hear the bullets and everything echoing throughout all the buildings around the area. And it's just like 5 minutes of pure visceral action. Mm-hmm. You can't beat that scene for a shootout. Except for with one of my later picks on my list.
I think I might know what that is.
Okay. Alright, so that was number 7.
Next one, number 5.
Number 6.
Oh.
My number 6 pick is from a great film that I gave a 10 out of 10. Darth vs. Luke. The second Star Wars movie. I am your father. The entire fight scene.
Okay, hold on.
What?
So just a random question.
Yeah.
Let's say someone happens to pick a scene that we both have.
Uh-huh.
What happens then? Do I reveal that fact?
Huh. That's like
just in case.
That's a really strange hypothetical to bring up at this point. Alright, so if I happen to bring out one that you also have, we punt and we talk about it later when it comes up on your list.
Okay, then we'll have to punt.
Okay. Alright, so my number 5 is the red shoes dancing scene. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little history on the red shoes if you haven't heard of it. It's in Martin Scorsese's top 10, and it's about a ballerina, so it sounds super lame, right? But it's actually sick. It's like, I actually have some movies that are really good, even though I thought they were going to be terrible. Scorsese knows how to recommend them. Red Shoes has this dancing scene in it. It combines like surreal imagery, like supernatural dancing, extreme choreography, super long takes, huge set design, all for like a 15-minute straight dancing scene. It's really epic, and that it just makes the entire movie like huge. Like, it seems like it has a huge budget, and it's just like crazy. So I don't know if you. I hate dancing. I would never do it. But I love the dancing scene from the Red Shoes.
Yeah, I think it teabags Black Swan.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like Black Swan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Speaking of Black Swan, we'll save that for later. We're gonna start a new section. We're gonna talk about some movies that we recently rewatched and give us a re-opinion on it. Kind of a coming back. What do we think the second time? After many years, what do we think? So we'll talk about that. All right. So I was at number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4?
Mm-hmm.
This one might have to be punted. I'm not sure though.
Okay.
Pulp Fiction hamburger scene. Is that your number 4?
It's not on my list.
Oh, it's not?
No, the Pulp Fiction hamburger scene is not on my list. Although it's a great pick.
Huh. I can't believe that's not. Because like when I saw that was like the most perfect scene. Like, you could not waste a single millisecond or a single line of dialogue. It's just so perfect. Like, you can't get better almost.
That's true. It was great.
It's like, it's got classic Sam Jackson. He's like the awesomest character of all time. He's like reciting verses, and it goes from like being really intense to being hilarious, like on a dime.
That's true. It does.
So it combines everything. The only thing it's not higher on my list is because it's not really deep. It's just awesome. Like there's
Well, it does set up though the entire theme of that character, where he's like he believes in God all of a sudden because he almost died like 5 times and the bullets go all around him and he's like, that was an act of God.
yeah
And it sets up his entire plot line throughout the whole movie.
yeah.
It's pretty sick.
I mean, I'm not the biggest like Pulp Fiction fan, but I gotta respect that scene.
That's true.
That's the scene that everyone can quote from and stuff.
Yeah, Sam Jackson knows how to deliver that type of scene. Oh man. Okay, so that was. Oh hey, and you're wearing a Pulp Fiction shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was foreshadowing.
Yeah. Okay, so that was your number 4.
Yeah, 3.
Oh no, now I'll do my number 4.
Oh, okay.
Number 4, Schindler's List. I could have done more.
Punt.
Punt?
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my number 3, the Joker interrogation scene.
Oh.
That was my number 3.
So you should have punted there.
I should have punted, yeah, actually.
Okay.
But I didn't punt. Did
Yeah.
we already talk about it?
Yeah, it was
We
my
already
number
talked.
9.
We already talked about it. The Joker interrogation scene. I'm sure you've heard of it.
So I'll do my number 3.
Yeah, give us your number 3.
It's Empire Strikes Back, Vader vs. Luke.
Okay, nice. So that was my number 6. Your number 3. Yeah.
It's one of those scenes that you could like forget about how good it is until you rewatch it. Because
Yes.
you watch it when you're a kid, and it's just like, oh yeah, Star Wars lightsaber fight. But then later when you watch it and you're old and you're like, oh, this is so perfect. It's got like the dramatic conclusion, and then you finally get the reveal, and it's just
Oh.
like the perfect build up,
Yeah, I agree.
and like way better choreography than the first Star Wars for the fight.
Right. What
Oh,
really?
and awesome cinematography.
Yeah. What really stood out to me when we rewatched Empire Strikes Back was when Darth Vader comes out and he's hacking away at Luke, like he's actually trying. Like if you can say something bad about the first Star Wars movie, that lightsaber fight in there is just terrible.
What?
It's horrible.
No.
In the first
it's
Star
good.
Wars movie.
It's
It's
good.
terrible. And then think about the Jedis and how all their powers, and then you think about Ben Kenobi doing a 2-mile-per-hour spin move.
Yeah, because he's like 80 years old.
Yeah, but why didn't Darth Vader just like chop him to death when he did that?
They were just toying with each other because they were like longtime friends, and they didn't want to. He didn't just want to hack him in half. He wanted to talk to him a little bit.
No, I don't.
And that wouldn't be
I
good.
don't think you can defend that fight. The choreography is terrible. I mean, it's not like I like the choreography from the prequels all that much, but there's got to be some suspension of disbelief. And in the first Star Wars, it loses you, but that's what the second one just ramps it up. It makes it way more realistic. It looks like they're actually trying to win a fight. Darth Vader's hacking away at him. He chops off his arm and his lightsaber flies down. It's sick. And then of course, I never had the privilege of getting my mind blown by it though, because I always knew Darth Vader was his father ever since I was a kid. I was like, that's obvious, isn't it? It's a fact.
You
right?
don't even know that's a mind blower when you're a kid.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I never even knew that was a surprise. I can't wait till I get kids and I can like specifically like try and trick them. Oh wow, Darth Vader is really evil. Man,
that's not gonna work.
I hope Luke Skywalker takes him out.
That's not gonna work.
It's gonna work. They're gonna get their minds blown. I'm gonna show it to them when they're really young. They're gonna be so
How
surprised.
young, because they're not even gonna appreciate it if they're like super young.
When they're 6 though, or something, 5 or 6 maybe, they'll still appreciate it if they get their mind blown.
The problem with Luis was that he played all the games before watching the
Oh
movies.
yeah, that's true.
So you can't let him play like Lego Star Wars first. You gotta watch the movies first.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man.
And also the cinematography in that one, like it's like blue room with like red lights in it, and then it's like super dark, so you just see their silhouettes, and then the sabers are glowing.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
when they're fighting over the carbonite
Yeah.
chamber thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so sick. Oh man, you're right.
And then there's the one where he's like Darth Vader's like throwing things at Luke.
Yeah,
and they like fly out there.
it's like a fighting video game. The environment keeps changing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that definitely is one of the best scenes of all time.
And the whole movie, it built up to that fight where Luke was like training with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really much. The first one seemed a little like when he blew up the Death Star. It was just like, really? He could aim with the Force. It seemed a little sudden, like he was just a Jedi all of a sudden using the Force.
Well, you thought that was sudden?
Yeah, a
He
little
was
bit.
learning about it a little bit. And you got to keep in mind, Luke is one of the most powerful Jedi.
Not in the first one. Not in the first Star Wars.
Well, but I mean is he had the skills to pay the bills, if you know what I mean. Like,
To sabotage this Death Star?
yeah. He's like he's like Michael Jordan in rookie season. You know what I mean? Sure, he's not going to be that good, but he still can do something amazing.
But I just felt like in the second one they did it better with like the whole Yoda training. That's why it seemed like the ending fight was so much more epic, because Luke was actually Beast and Darth Vader was Beast. So it's two beasts going at it.
Yeah, that's true. I love Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
He makes it epic.
Black and deep.
Yep.
Okay, what next?
Okay, let's see. You shared your number 3, right?
Yeah, I just did 3.
Okay,
so.
I did. All right, now let me share my number 2.
Okay.
I'll give
TMI.
you. What, you saw it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
You said let me share my number 2.
Okay. My number 2 is the Matrix subway fight scene.
Okay.
At the end of the Matrix.
A very male pick.
How is that a male pick? So you're saying males are more inherently violent?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. Anyway, it's my favorite fight scene of all time, so I had to make my list for best scenes. What makes it great is it starts off, the entire build up to the movie is no one can fight Agent Smith. Nobody can fight him. He's too strong. They run every time they see him. He can take over random people, and if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. Then it comes to the scene where Neo literally decides to become the one by facing off against him. It's pure epic. When he looks up at the staircase, and then he turns around and decides, and he goes like this, that's when you know you're about to watch one of the best fight scenes of all time. Okay, then it starts off where they both whip out their guns, and it does bullet time. You see the bullets flying past each other, and they perfectly land, and they're both out of bullets at the same time. I love it when skilled gunfighters, then they have to go to a fist fight. It's epic. And then the cinematography on the scene is sick. The camera is flowing around the fighters.
Oh, yeah.
Notice how it doesn't cut randomly like in Taken 2. Like, it's not, whenever the fist connects, it cuts to another angle. The camera is just rotating around, just constantly rotating around. Perfectly choreographed hits. And the fight choreographer in this movie is one of the best fight choreographers of all time, also known for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
And John Wick.
No, not John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick.
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that some guy from The Matrix was part of John Wick.
Yeah, I think it was Keanu Reeves.
Like the director or something.
Okay. Well, but anyway, Matrix subway fight is one of my favorite scenes of all time, and that's my number 2 pick.
I didn't put it in my top 10 because I felt like it wasn't like the ending of the movie, like, because after he kills Agent Smith there, he just keeps on running, you know, so it makes it slightly less epic. Like, it's not the final.
Yeah,
fight.
I guess
He beats him, but then there's just another Smith that kind of makes it less epic. And then he just keeps running.
So you think the later scene where they do the other stuff takes away from the fight scene?
No, the fight scene's great.
You just mean the overall significance of the fight?
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good argument to have. But I just like it for pure enjoyment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite scenes, too.
Alright, what's number 2 on your list?
My number 2 is Jaws Indianapolis.
Jaws Indianapolis? Oh, we'll have to punt.
Yeah.
That's my number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know,
let's
since
do that
we're already
one.
there,
Yeah,
we might as well
let's do
talk
that
about it. Okay, there's something about Jaws that you just don't, that just it gets better every single time you see it. When I was a kid, we used to watch Jaws on TV, right, with Dad and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It was on TV, and I was like, oh wow, this is great. This is scary. Jaws is after them. I can't believe it's happening. He just keeps coming. They can't stop him. I remember thinking, like, the first few times I saw it, like, when Jaws pulls down the other barrels, he just keeps pulling down more and more. I just was just like, what? This is so impossible. Even though I had no idea how possible it was for a shark to pull down the barrels, the movie itself is directed so well. I just was thinking, this is impossible. How is the shark so beast? How can they not be able to stop it right now? I was just in shock. And then over the years, every time I watch it, it gets better and better. And one of the standout scenes is the Indianapolis scene.
The standout scene.
Yeah.
Because, like, I hadn't seen it in so long, and when I rewatched it, I realized, like, my 3 favorite parts in the entire movie were all in that one scene.
Mm.
It's 3 sections of the movie that are all my favorite. It's
Really?
the scar showing scene.
Okay. Well, it's all part of the scene.
I know, but there's, like, 3 parts. The scar showing, the Indianapolis speech, and then they start singing. That's, like, my 3 favorite parts of the whole movie, all in a row.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's, like, the scar scene is, like, kind of comedic, and then it, like, they're just, like, talking whatever. They're just guys showing off their scars.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets really serious when he starts doing the Indianapolis speech.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, like, it's just going to be like, okay, that was awesome. Let's just start singing now.
Yeah.
That's what guys would do.
And think about it, how different the tone is of those 3 scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I love about the monologue is that it fully explains his character motivations and makes you understand why he hates sharks so much. And it's kind of cool because I think it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is actually about a real ship did go down. I'm not sure if they all got eaten by sharks, but that's a great scene.
Yeah, like Robert Shaw is like the coolest character.
I love Robert
of
Shaw.
all time in that movie.
He's a great actor.
He like scratches his nails on the chalkboard. He sings a bunch of sea shanties. That's a hard sentence to say.
Yeah. Oh man.
And he's crushing beer cans.
Yeah, that was
smashing things with baseball bats. He's like the awesomest character of all time.
So to make a great character, they have to sing randomly, have sick monologues, and smash things with baseball bats.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so what was your number 1? If it wasn't that one.
My number 1 was the Schindler's List. I could have said one more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one you punted.
That was my number 4.
I picked that as the number 1 because, like, even though Jaws is, like, my personal favorite awesome scene, Schindler's List is the one where it has the power to affect you the most. Because not everyone's going to be affected by a shark speech, you know?
That's true.
Like, it's a good speech, but not everyone's going to have the same reaction to it.
Right.
Whereas I think anyone watching Schindler's List is going to have their mind blown and get really emotional at the end of that scene.
That's true.
So it's like a universal scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no matter who you are, I think that scene will stand out to you.
Yeah, it's got like the awesome Liam Neeson acting. Mm-hmm. You're on the verge of tears.
It's definitely one of the saddest scenes of all time.
You're ready to go become a missionary or something. You gotta do something.
Yeah.
At the end of that one, like it spurs you to action.
Yeah.
Like no other.
Yeah.
So that's my number 1. What's your number 0?
Number 0? Wait. Oh, do you mean like my honorable mentions?
I was thinking about my number 0 would be Arnold snapping that guy's neck in Commando.
What was that? I don't remember that scene.
And then he's like, don't touch my friend, he's dead tired.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That's like the best
so
of all time.
Your number 0 is like a really sucky scene that you like?
Yeah.
My number 0 is Bloodsport final fight scene.
Oh yeah. Breaking the pill.
Yep. Okay. Nice list.
Connor Kubis gave us a message.
Oh, nice.
Bruce and Alfred talk.
Oh yeah. Connor likes the Bruce and Alfred talk from Dark Knight Rises, but that scene is too short, and although good, Connor needs to see a few more movies before he finds some of the best scenes of all time.
Yeah, and I also think the reveal of what Alfred did to the letter.
Oh yeah, that scene was actually better. Yeah,
that scene was better.
Right,
because it was so heartbreaking.
Right, yeah.
Whereas the other one was just sad.
Yeah, that was like the tearjerker moment, but the best acting was definitely in the Bruce and Alfred scene. Yep. All right, so that's our top 10. Next week we might have another top 10 for you of a different style. All right, so now I think we should move on to our new thing here. We're going to talk about some movies we recently rewatched and our new opinions on them. And maybe I think we should start off by a movie we just watched last night, Force Awakens. We rewatched it again, got it on Blu-ray, and we have some new opinions on it or not?
Yeah, I got a new opinion.
What's your new opinion?
I wasn't as good the second time.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little disappointing because I gave it an 8 the first time, but now I gave it a 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And like, it didn't get worse. Like the movie wasn't worse. Like I didn't realize like a terrible flaw or plot hole or anything.
Yeah.
I just realized that I was like, everyone was so caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
And then after the hype dies down and we've seen it, it's not as good. Like seeing it for the second time isn't as fresh. And that seems obvious.
Yeah.
But like some movies on the second time still are as fresh. And this one wasn't as fresh on the second time.
Yeah.
The only scenes that were fresh were the really original scenes in the movie.
Well, I have a theory why that was the case. 'Cause I had a similar feeling, and I'm thinking it's because when we first saw it, we saw it in a full packed theater. Everyone was in there, and it was just like pure adrenaline. We didn't know anything that was going to happen.
Yeah, it was like a moment where everyone was just like...
It was almost like an event, not really just a movie.
Yeah,
so
it was
that's
an event.
That's what elevated it to 8 out of 10 status. But I kind of see why you... The negatives to me really stood out was it's basically a soft reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't really want to believe that it was a reboot when it came out, but it's basically a soft reboot of the first one. All the events are very similar, and I totally agree with you that the best scenes are the ones where they did something new and didn't copy the old movies.
Yeah, specifically their opening Rey introduction.
Yeah.
All that stuff is like my favorite stuff because it's like introducing a new character. She's got this great theme. There's great sets, great characters, and you're just learning about the new character, and it's awesome. It's like building a whole new world instead of something we haven't seen.
And I like the plot. I like the plot idea of trying to find Luke Skywalker. I wish they hadn't diverted it to the same old plot. I wish
the Death Star.
They could have just taken out the planet and had the bad guys be on the ship, and then the main conflict happens on the ship or something. You know what I mean? And they're fighting over the plans to find Luke Skywalker. I don't think the planet was even essential to the story. Yeah, they just kind of tossed it in there.
I didn't give a rip about the Death Star at all in the second viewing. I was just like, I wanted to see the awesome lightsaber fight.
Yeah,
they kept cutting
and then they cut to the Death Star fight.
The only thing I cared about was Poe Dameron's 5 o'clock shadow during that scene. That's all I cared about.
Yeah. Oh man. The positives, though, it had good effects.
Good effects?
They nailed the effects because they used a lot of practical creatures. That was the good nostalgia, was having practical creatures. We need to go back in our action movies. We need to go back to practical effects. They just look better than CG. When you can tell it's CG, it's bad. That's what I say.
Yeah. It was a little weird, though, because there was CG characters. Like Maz Kanata. She was CG.
Yeah, she looked pretty good, though.
She looked good, but you have to be consistent, you know?
That's true.
It was a little inconsistent.
It was a little inconsistent. It's almost like...
It was like you were watching two different movies.
It was like a best of artist, and then they changed their genres in between, and you're like, oh, this song sounds way different than the last one.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah. I agree with you, but it's almost like they have to have CG in it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know what I think it is? I think all the practical effects companies have gone out of business, so it's actually way more expensive to go practical than it is to do CG. Because there's so many different companies producing CG that you can get it for a lot cheaper. And all the best, like, puppeteers and everything, I'm sure they don't work cheap now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What else was that? I was going to say... Oh, yeah, about Han Solo.
Oh, Han was beast.
Like, there's so many funny moments with Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like, the whole bit about trying the crossbow, or the Wookiee... It's not a crossbow. What's it called? Bowcaster.
Bowcaster, yeah.
That was so funny. And then he was like, out of the way, ball, when he was talking to BB-8.
Yeah, and he called Finn big deal.
Big deal. Like, all these one-liners are memorable. That's not how the Force works. Like, these are all new one-liners that are memorable.
That's why Han and Chewie were so great. They were new and fresh. The characters advanced. It was a perfect tie-up to the entire thing.
Oh, 2016 humor. That ruined it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
If you guys don't know, 2016 humor is when...
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
you sarcastically observe what's happening, and you just say what's happening, and that's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Like if there's a zombie and he's coming towards you, you'd be like, "That's an ugly zombie."
Oh yeah.
And then everyone's supposed to laugh at that.
Or you'd say, "Zombies, we got zombies."
Yeah.
It's not funny, but
No,
it's
not
called
clever.
It's called 2016 humor. It's like observational humor without the cleverness.
So, for example, in the movie, Poe Dameron's like, it's like epic. He's staring at Kylo Ren, and then he's like, "Who talks first? Do you talk first? I talk first?"
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
He's just observing that it's like an intimidating, so it's like a fourth wall breaking, sarcastic thing.
Yeah.
It's just too much 2016 humor. It dates the movie, and it's not funny.
The thing about Star Wars is it was always set in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't want anything that related it to the actual world. It has to be a pure fantasy setting. It'd be like in Lord of the Rings if Aragorn all of a sudden said YOLO or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't fit the theme at all. And then another annoying 2016 humor was when Finn was like, "Oh, so do you have a boyfriend? Maybe
Yeah.
a cute boyfriend?" That was stupid.
Yeah.
That's a dumb comment.
Not
Nobody says that in real life, and especially not in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's not funny. Fire the writer that wrote that line.
And not only that, I didn't like Finn at all. I didn't like him on the first viewing too. I confirmed my opinion that he sucks.
On the first viewing, I was like, "Oh yeah, Finn, he could be cool."
Yeah.
Oh, cool, Finn. And then on the second viewing, I was like, "What's his character?"
He has no charisma. Like in the scenes with Poe Dameron, you only care about Poe Dameron because he has so much charisma. Finn has like none, and it makes sense because he's a stormtrooper. But it doesn't make for an interesting character.
I thought he had some charisma, but his problem was he was kind of annoying.
A little bit.
It's like he was always like whining or like saying like, "Oh, we need to leave. They're gonna kill us. We have to get out of here. I'm leaving." He was like a kind of a like drama queen almost.
Maybe he was like supposed to be what the audience relates to, because like Rey is like the BA hero.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really supposed to relate to her. You're probably supposed to relate more to Finn.
Maybe.
So they tried to make him seem like, oh, he's really scared because this monster's chasing him.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, a lot of people were complaining about that monster scene in the ship, but I like the monster scene now. It doesn't really stand out as all that bad to me. When you know the monsters attack and everybody, Chan and Chewie, the two guys come out.
Chan and Hui?
Hui? Yeah.
And what about the main star of the movie death scene? Don't want to spoil it in case you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I got sad the first time in theaters, but I didn't get sad this time.
I was never sad because
you never were?
I knew it was coming. They like had the huge epic setup, and he's like walking out on the bridge, and there's no railings on the bridge.
Yeah, easy falling.
Yeah, it just seemed like I knew it was gonna happen.
So you didn't get sad. I got sad. I didn't know it was coming.
You didn't know it was coming?
No, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I guess I just thought like Han Solo was immortal.
Well, why you just spoiled it? In case you haven't seen it, and then we spoiled it.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
Okay, but yeah.
Oh, I loved the final lightsaber fight. That was so cool.
That was a good fight.
It was like glowing, and it was a really cool environment.
It
was all the new characters.
The fighters didn't have much skill though. That was kind of
Yeah, they were just hacking away.
They kind of just were taking swings.
It's better than Revenge of the Sith.
Really?
Well,
I mean,
that's an epic moment, but it was too choreographed. Like I like how it's more natural.
Yeah, it was more natural. I want to see that style of fight, but with two Jedi that have a little bit more skill. You know what I mean?
I mean, we'll see that in the sequels. I'm sure.
I'm sure we'll see the rematch: Kylo Ren versus Rey.
Yeah.
And I want to see Luke Skywalker versus Darth Plagueis.
If he's even in it.
I think Supreme Leader Snow is Darth Plagueis, and I think he's going to fight Luke Skywalker. That'd be pretty cool. But, okay, so, yeah. So,
also, it was like, the whole time the movie was teasing things that you're never actually going to see until the sequels.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many secrets in the movie. It's almost like it's like dangling a steak in front of you watching the whole movie until you get to the end. Right. And you're wanting a little more.
Yeah. It's almost like it's to be continued. It's like, come on.
Like
I need to see more.
like Jaws does that the whole movie. Like they don't show you much shark, but in the end, you get to see the shark, and there's a good ending.
Yeah.
In this one, you never get the steak. It's like the steak will be in the sequel.
Yeah.
And that's only a problem now. Though.
It's only a problem now. I think like this, if you think about it, Empire Strikes Back is the exact same way. It just ends randomly, no conclusion. The dark side won, and Luke got his hand chopped off, and it's like, oh, that's it. What's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost even more of a cliffhanger than
Isn't that why people didn't really like the second one much when it came out?
Yeah, I think it wasn't quite as loved as the first one when it first came out, but then it became a classic later.
Yeah.
So maybe when the next one comes out, we'll have a better gauge of judging it. So so you say you gave it an 8 before, and now you give it a 7?
Yeah, I'd probably give it like a 7.6.
7.6? Yeah, after the movie I thought 7.5. That was my rating. Pretty close on that rating.
Yep. Slight difference.
Yep.
I thought it was 0.1 better.
0.1, but no, I will die by that 0.1. Alright, so another movie that you recently watched was The Social Network. And I had been trying to convince you to watch it. I've been saying, man, you gotta see The Social Network. It's really good. David Fincher. It's so good. And you watched it, and what was your opinion on the movie? That good, huh?
Nah, I didn't like it. The reason I didn't want to watch it was probably on the inside I knew it wasn't going to be my style. And when I finally watched it, that was exactly the case.
It's not your style.
It was like, it was the opposite of everything I want in a movie. Like, just, what exactly? The main character was terrible. Like, for a movie, I should like the main character. I shouldn't not like the main character.
That's not a rule.
Because even in There Will Be Blood,
I was just going to bring that up.
I know, because I still like the main character in There Will Be Blood, even though he's a dick.
Yeah, so you mean...
But I didn't like...
You still like...
Jesse
it's
Eisenberg.
not that you think he's a good person. You still just like his performance and like the character.
It's not about his morality. It's about just liking watching the character on screen.
Okay.
Because, like, the Joker has bad morals, but he's still fun to watch.
That's true.
So I didn't like Jesse Eisenberg.
So Jesse Eisenberg was terrible in The Social Network.
Like, just watch the first scene. It's like this really awkward conversation where they're just communicating, like, really poorly, and they're just talking so fast, like they're trying to one-up each other.
Yeah.
And then they just break up. It's just like, that's awkward. Like, why do I want to watch that? That's too realistic. I don't want to see that. Like, that's something that could happen in real life.
Isn't that a compliment, though? Like, it was so realistic, and
it's like watching a cringe compilation.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I guess. But didn't you like just the acting overall? I thought there was really good acting in the movie.
The only acting I liked was Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
He was really good. You could tell he's like a really good actor.
Yeah. You know,
although he has the puppy dog voice.
Puppy dog voice.
Uncle Bob.
Yeah, okay, but I don't know why I liked it so much when I saw it. I thought it was just like really well directed, and it had. I remember thinking it had a really interesting plot.
The plot was garbage.
What was garbage about it?
It was just like this confusing string of suing people, and you never knew who to root for because everyone was lame.
Yeah.
And then there was just like a random Justin Timberlake appeared, and then the ending was just lame. Like nothing happened. It was just like such a boring story. Like I don't know why they made the story.
That's kind of true. Well, it's interesting because it's about how the main character's own ridiculous and strange personality ruins all his relationships with his friends, and it's the contrast because he's creating the biggest social network ever.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's interesting.
Look at that contrast. And Fincher knows how to direct a movie.
Oh yeah.
Even if you don't like his movie, you at least acknowledge his movie making skills when you see it.
Definitely.
So maybe I need to rewatch it. Maybe I saw it back when I didn't know much about movies and it wasn't actually that good. So when I saw it originally, I gave it an 8. But what do you give it now?
I think I gave it I'd probably give it like a 7.0.
7.0?
Yeah.
So pretty good, but not really.
Yeah, like I think it's way overrated.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Although it is a good like time capsule, like you can go back in time and watch that, because it's like crazy to think about not having social media now.
Oh.
So like people in the future watching that will be like, what did people do before social media?
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's interesting.
So it'd be like a history film then. They'll play it at school. Like, This is what it was like before we had social media. This is about the guy that invented Facebook.
And, like, that's kind of cool because, like,
although, except for MySpace was before Facebook, though.
Yeah, well, no one had MySpace.
No, everybody had it, and then it got unpopular, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it was like Facebook before Facebook. But I think it was, like, not as good. It was basically just you make your own web page or something. I never had it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think... It was never as popular as Facebook, was it?
I'm not sure. I know there was a lot of people playing it, but... Yeah, I don't know.
And I didn't like how it was set, like, at the college, Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, like, all these party scenes and all this, like, forced social gatherings that I hate. Like a bunch of, oh, yeah, let's have a beer party, man. It just made me feel bad. Like, I didn't enjoy watching that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I, like, hate that stuff so much.
Yeah, definitely.
But I didn't relate to the one guy who wasn't into the parties, which was Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Because he was just, like, off making his Facebook.
And screwing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I really don't see why people like it. Like, aside from the production value.
That's true. I don't know. Well, I'll see it again and come back to it. All right, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, Black Swan. Same situation for Black Swan.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I saw Black Swan, I thought it was really interesting. And just, like, mind-bending, great direction, really crazy ending.
Black Swan is a little better than Social Network.
Okay.
Because I usually like more artsy movies than just, like, a straight-up, like, Social Network.
Okay.
So that's just my personal preference. But for me, it fell apart near the end, where you couldn't even tell what was real and what was fake.
Isn't that what made it good, though?
That's what you think. That's what makes it good. It's like, whoa, is this a dream or what?
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I couldn't give less of a rip what was real, because, like, every other scene... Actually, no, literally every scene had, like, a hallucination.
Or a contradiction.
Yeah.
Oh.
So by the end of it, I was just like, I don't care. Nothing is real at this point. Like, it didn't even give me any bones as to what could possibly be real and what is fake. Like, Inception, there's only two options, and you have to try to figure out if it's a dream or
so
real.
it was too complex for your feeble mind, is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm retarded.
Okay. I remember liking it. I remember watching it and thinking that I kind of treated it like a mystery. Like, I was trying to decide whether it was real or fake. And I also liked it because it was kind of like had similar scenes to Perfect Blue, that anime movie.
I've never seen that.
Yeah,
was it inspired by that?
It was it was actually inspired by it, and one of the scenes is a mirror image of the scene from that one.
Oh.
So, and it has basically a similar plot too. But yeah, that one's definitely my second favorite ballerina movie.
But it was like kind of similar to The Social Network. Like, every character's a dick. You don't like anyone. And Natalie Portman is your main character. She's, like, obsessed with being, like, this perfect ballerina. And she's, like, super shy. It's just, like, I don't relate to her in any way. So who am I supposed to like in this movie? And then she has, like, this repressive mom who, like, tries to keep her from doing anything or, like, growing up.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
I was like, ugh, what is this?
Yeah, some of the themes in the movie are, like, make your skin crawl. It was a little random. But it was pretty good, I thought.
And I also felt like, I guess it felt a little pretentious to me, just because by the end of it, it was like trying to make this deep statement about, like, trying to achieve perfection or whatever. But, like, by the end of it, I didn't care so much about the movie that the ending just felt so pretentious to me.
Yeah, it was a little pretentious.
But maybe if I analyzed it a little more, it would be better. I'm sure there's a pretty deep story.
Let's just say the philosophical aspect is no Matrix 3.
Hey, did you know that Agent Smith is actually the one?
No. That's a dumb theory. It's so dumb. Okay, what about one other movie that we recently rewatched? Any come to mind that you'd feel like talking about? I was thinking about Hard Boiled.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Hard Boiled, if you don't know about it, is a John Woo film. And it's one of his movies that he made when he still lived in Hong Kong, I think. I think he lived in Hong Kong. And it was his final action movie. So John Woo makes ridiculous action movies. He's basically the Asian Michael Bay. And Hard Boiled is universally recognized as one of the best shooting movies of all time, with some of the best shootouts ever. And we had watched it like 7 years ago, and we watched it again 2 nights ago, and it's crazy. The body count in this movie. Before I watched the movie, I was like, oh, let me look at some of the trivia about the movie to get in the mood. So I looked it up, and I was like, oh, body count. This should be interesting. Whoa, 380 people dead? And I was like, wow, there must have been like an explosion that destroys an entire building. But nope, it's just guys getting shot. 380 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
There's so many gunfights in this movie. It's so crazy. It's ridiculous. In fact, there's too much action. Mm-hmm. You don't hear that criticism too much, but there was too many shootouts.
Young dudes.
Yeah.
Ripped.
No. But there's too many shooting scenes. You know, all it needed to do was take out one of the shooting scenes in the middle, and it could have been one of the best shooting movies of all time. I think I wanted so bad to give it an 8, but then it was too over the top, and I had to give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if you're a fan of action movies, Hard Boiled is one of the essential all time that you have to see.
And it's got one of the famous long takes. There's a long take at the end of all action, and it was awesome, but there's one aspect of it that spoils it. There's like this really bad slow motion effect that makes it look terrible. Like, and it's not just slow motion, it's like the choppy slow motion.
Yeah, that's called where you remove the frames.
Yeah.
And it makes it look
that looks terrible. I don't think that's ever been used effectively, in my opinion. It always looks terrible.
It did look pretty bad. But
it kind of ruined the awesomeness.
It was barely in the scene, though. And anytime you have in a 2.5 minute straight shootout scene, one take, it's
awesome.
Sick. It's definitely one of the best one take scenes of all time. So you have to see that one just to boost your film cred if you like action movies and one takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the essential viewings. But I actually had it at 7 before, so I stayed. Overall, I'd probably give it a 7.4.
Yeah, it's like 7.5-ish.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's definitely for a specific type of audience.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take your mom to it. Alright, well, I guess we might wrap up the episode here unless you have another movie we recently rewatched that you can think of.
I can't really think of anything.
Okay. Oh, we did watch Knowing with Nicolas Cage. I kind of wanted to mention that for some reason.
Yeah?
Okay, so one of our friends a long time ago mentioned how there's this Nicolas Cage movie that was so bad he couldn't believe it, called Knowing. And it's about Nicolas Cage who plays a dad who finds like this code to the apocalypse. And let's just say I was very pleasantly surprised about how good this movie was.
Yeah.
Usually with Nicolas Cage you expect it to be so bad it's good, but it was actually good.
Yeah, like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole movie.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
There's actually legitimately good, intense scenes. Like, there's this plane crash scene.
Oh, yeah, the plane crash scene.
One take.
One take.
Becoming a common theme on this channel.
Yeah, I like one takes.
But it was awesome. Like, it's legitimately a good scene. And it's like, kind of a B movie. Not...
Yeah, it's
like a really good B movie.
It's like one of the best B movies of all time. You know what I mean?
Maybe, depending on what counts as a B movie.
Yeah, but that's a great one. If you haven't seen it anywhere for 50 cents, I was waiting. I put a pact on myself, don't buy this movie unless you see it for less than $1. And I finally found it for 50 cents on DVD, and we watched it, and it was actually good.
Yeah, it's definitely worth 50 cents. Not quite $8.25 in theaters.
Yeah, yeah. If I paid $8.25 for it, I might have been pretty disappointed.
But then again, if you did that, you deserved it.
Yeah. If you saw Nicolas Cage in Knowing, and you're like, I gotta get out to the theater to see that,
then you deserve whatever money you lost.
Yeah. Well, I guess this concludes our first ever live streamed episode of Tayin and Talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week, maybe Friday around this time again. Bye.